Hello everyone. Good evening ladies and gentlemen. Okay, not so evening lah, now afternoon lah. Okay, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. On today's episode, I have a story to tell. It's a story about it's my history lah. Okay. Recently something happened that reminded me of myself. So yeah, that's why I want to tell you guys this story. So recently I have a friend. Okay, I have a lot of friends who are much older than me. So this friend of mine, he is quite old lah compared to me. So his son is already in his 20s. So recently he came back from fishing and he saw that someone else is riding his bike out of the car park. Then he chased after his bike. So turns out it was his son who was riding his bike. His son haven't got his license yet. He is taking it. And yalah, young blood, right? Obviously he's excited lah to ride. That's why he cap merah ride his father's motorcycle and was caught red-handed by his dad. And this the way his father reacted, saying like I don't know what to say to this boy, you know, that kind of parents reaction. I understand that very much because I was that child, I was that son. So my history with motorcycles. Okay, I'm born in 1993. So now I am 33. This year lah, I am 33 years old. I started to be interested in motorcycles since I was a very small kid. Probably around 5 years old, I think. Like the first bike that attracted me to motorcycles is I started liking motorcycles since I was about 5 years old because I watched, back then they call it Mask Rider. The one I watched was Mask Rider. Now younger generations know it as Kamen Rider. That attracted me to, that sparked my interest in motorcycles. And then I started to see some motorcycles in public that resembles like Kamen Rider motorcycles, which was I think it was 1999 Goldwing. You know, it was very big, boxy, and it has chrome parts everywhere. So yeah, it looked like a Kamen Rider motorcycle lah. And it has so many compartments. Then I told my mom, when I grow up, I want to buy a motorcycle with 6 seats. Why I call it 6 seats? Because I count the space that when I look at the Honda Goldwing, I imagine that I can fit 6 of myself on that bike. One on the tank, one on the rider seat, one on the pillion seat, one on the pannier, one on the other pannier, and one on the top box. Yeah, it's a 5-year-old thinking lah, huh? So of course my imaginary was quite wild. So my mom was thinking like, what the fuck is this child talking about? 6-seater motorcycle. So yeah, it was the Goldwing because it looks futuristic. Back then in 1999, it looks futuristic as hell. So I targeted, I want a big bike like that, so I can bring 6 people with me. I can bring 5 people with me, because to me it's a 6-seater bike, right? Okay, so on to the future. I turned 12 years old. I had an uncle and auntie who lived in JB, kampung, like really kampung, wooden house, all that. So yeah, that was my first ever experience riding on a motorcycle. Oh wait, actually before that, like 9 years old, 10 years old, I always sit on the front basket, you know. Then I hold the handlebar. I actually hold the speedometer of the Honda EX5. Then my uncle will bring me around the kampung. Then that's the first time I ever felt the strong wind, the sense of freedom on a motorcycle. Then fast forward to 12 years old. Every year, school holiday, I always go to my auntie house in JB and pester my uncle to bring me out for a ride. Then I always sit at the front until I'm tall enough to touch the floor when sitting on the rider seat. So that's where I start to pop the question to my uncle. Can you teach me how to ride a motorcycle? Because I saw him teaching my older cousins who were, I think, 6 years older than me, I think. But I didn't care about the age because I was a tall kid. I was a tall child. I was just as tall as my cousin when they are older than me. So I thought, yeah, the height is what matters and the size is what matters, because I was big enough to sit on the bike and lift it from the side stand. So I think it should be okay lah, right? It should be similar to riding a bicycle. How hard can it be, right? So he delay until he say, next time I teach you, until I turn 12. Then he think maybe I think it's time lah, and he teach me how to ride. And it was a semi-automatic motorcycle where you just click the gear, no clutch, no nothing, you just throttle. Then you change gear, then throttle. But at the age of 12 is where I learn throttle control. Yes, EX5 is a very underpowered motorcycle for adults, but for a 12-year-old kid it was overwhelming. It's like let's say you take your first lesson on class 2B, but you take the lesson on a Hayabusa, maybe too much, Ducati, maybe too much. Maybe the first time you straight away ride Super 4, it will be overwhelming, but like you think you are still in control because you are at that age, you are very immature lah. I was 12, what do you expect? So I learned how to ride a bit here and there, and then after that I don't get to experience any more of it. Then I turned 14. The year was 2007. From the experience I had riding the Honda EX5 at the kampung, I was excited to turn 18, and I had 6 more years to go. I was just 12. So the excitement of a child, you can't really control it that well. So any opportunity I get, I will go to the kampung, I will pester my uncle, but he will say, no, I need to use the bike for work. This one is not for jalan-jalan, this one is a work bike. But of course, I didn't understand what he meant by that. So I waited patiently. Then at the age of 14, I went to my friend's older sister's wedding. Back then, when you want to get married, you don't hire like kendarat. You just call the friends or classmates of your younger siblings to help pick up the dirty dishes and wash the dirty dishes, right? And then you just give them like maybe $20 each. At the age of 14, getting $20 is a lot for me. So I did that. Then I get to know some of his neighborhood friends. Then they like, you know, we talk. Then one of the friends brought up that the night before they saw one bike. They never say what bike it is. They saw one bike that has a key left in the ignition. Then they thought, hey, can take this bike can take, you know, we got the key. Then I thought, take lah. Then I told them, just take lah, without thinking about any consequences. So I said, take lah. Then some of them are older than me actually, and they told me, but we all don't know how to ride motorcycle. Say, with confidence, I only had maybe 10 minutes of experience touching the throttle. And I say, don't worry, I know how to ride bike. Then we go to the bike. It was like maybe 1 a.m. in the morning. Then they show me the bike. It was a Honda Wave. Jackpot. It's the same type of bike as the EX5. Kapchai, underpowered, semi-auto. So it was okay lah. I should be able to control it lah. Then we walk around the car park. We saw one uncle left his helmet on the, I think it was a Honda Phantom. So he left the helmet there. We took the helmet. Then we go to the bike. I put on the helmet. I turn the key. Ignition on, bro. Jackpot. Then I start the engine. Jackpot. Kick into gear. Power. Reverse the bike. I was very tall for a 14-year-old, but skinny lah back then. So I started to ride the bike, go around the neighborhood of Bukit Batok. And somehow, yeah lah, because I was young and stupid, like very, very, very stupid, I was going first gear, second gear, full throttle, but not at the maximum RPM, so the speed wasn't that high, but it was full throttle at the void deck. So just my luck, I jam brake like at the lift lobby. There was like a round stone table. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There was a drunk bangla. Guess what? He was being screened by the police. There were 3 police officers there. When I jam brake, it was supposed to be a joke, like jam brake and then throttle back. But my nature, my mental nature don't allow me to run away from police, because it's telling me you are going to make things worse. So if you are caught, just stay caught. So I froze lah. I just keep quiet. I jam brake. The 3 police officers turned to me, like, look at me like they also lost, you know. They thought their night will be uneventful. Screening a drunk Bangla worker, like just a normal day for us. Then suddenly one motherfucker underage riding a Honda Wave jam brake next to them. So they're like, uh-oh, jackpot. And they just tell me nicely, off the engine, go and squat down next to the tree there. So I did. I just squat down, and they actually quickly wrap up whatever they are doing with the Bangla. They just take down his particulars and they move on to me. Mind you, I was doing the dishes at the wedding. So I was wearing FBT shorts and a t-shirt that says Steve Austin 316. because of course I was a wrestling fan. It was the early 2000s, and WWE was still showing on Channel 5. So yeah, I was always watching wrestling, and I'm a wrestling fan back then. So they caught me, they cuffed me, they brought me to Jurong HQ, and my mom was at home thinking, my son is washing dishes with his friends. Like for the first time he go out overnight with his friends, let him lah. He will grow mature soon, right? So he will go out at night anyway, so just let him be. She did not expect to receive a phone call at 3:30 a.m. from a phone number that belongs to the Jurong Police HQ lockup department, the phone down there, telling her that, "Mom, please bail me from the lockup." Then she asked me, "What the fuck are you doing there? What happened to you?" I told her lah, someone left their key at the bike, so I took it for a joyride. And my mom was freaking out. She was yelling at me through the phone, and she told the IO, "What are my options?" she asked. Then the IO say, "You can either bail him out in the morning, you come here and you bail him out and wait for the court date. If nothing is done, he will go on to boys home remand." And my mom say, "Good, let him spend some time there and reflect on his actions." So I spent this was during the June holidays. I was in Sec 2 back then. It was at the beginning of the June holidays. So I was sent to Singapore Boys Home, and I spent about 1 month 15 days at the remand. It was a dorm, it wasn't a cell. So there was about 30 people there, 30 naughty boys in the dorm. And I went out to court about twice before they sentenced me. So there was 2 court hearing and then 1 sentencing. So after 1 month 15 days in boys home, I was sentenced to 18 months probation and 80 hours of what they call it, CWO, corrective work order. So I chose to do librarian duty. I went to Bukit Panjang Plaza Library. I choose that option because it's the one with the least interaction with people. I did my 80 hours of duty. I got a curfew of 9 p.m. 8 a.m. to 9 wait, it was 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. I think. Originally I think it was 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. But then I managed to convince them to change it to 9 p.m. because I got a job at McDonald's and I work after school. So the earliest I can end work is 8:30 p.m. So I can only reach home at 9. And they're like, okay, can. But because I had good report from my teachers and my employers, so it will help with my sentence. So yeah, I was in boys home. I did my probation and I was officially a free man after that. Fast forward to 2 years after that, I was 16 and my brother was 19. He passed his license. He got himself a Honda NSR SP 150 Abeng bike. I also don't know why he chose that bike instead of KR, but he chose a Abeng bike. So yeah, I know how to ride bike at that point, so but I don't know how to use a manual clutch, which is this left hand right here. So when my brother goes to sleep after work, and this is after I'm already free from probation, everything. I took his key, I sneaked out, and I took his bike out. But the first time I took his bike out, nobody teach me how to use clutch. I only overheard some people, like I said, I have a lot of older friends, even from a young age. So there was one friend taking license, and this older guy was teaching him with words, like telling him how you release the clutch slowly, how you feather the clutch, then you throttle a bit, you know. So I only know it in theory. And then I took my brother's bike. I know how to kickstart, so I just kickstart the bike. It started. Then, okay, the exact spot was a multi-story car park. Behind, actually it's more to like on the left of Greenridge Primary School. There's like a long stretch of small road. If you from Bukit Panjang, you know which road I'm talking about lah. The whole stretch of the multi-story car park is actually a motorcycle parking lot. So what I did was I aligned the bike with the road, straighten the bike, I kickstart, then I put it into gear, then I release the clutch. After stalling the bike about maybe 25 to 30 times, I managed to get the bike rolling. After the bike roll a bit, only, I straight away open throttle. Then I remember my friend tell me, oh, the first kick down is first gear, then the rest all you kick up, then to downshift is the opposite. So yeah, I did that. Then I managed to get out of that place, the car park. I whack around Bukit Panjang, then I come back. Then I thought, wow. And surprisingly, like me, I have this talent where I can learn some things quickly. I pick up very, very quickly. I learn how to use the clutch just like that. Then throughout the neighborhood, every traffic light I stopped at, I didn't stall. I straight away rev and move off like nobody business. But of course I was over revving a bit lah. So whack until I happy. I come back. Luckily I managed to get the same spot, the same parking lot, so that my brother won't be suspicious of me. So I park the bike back at the same lot, and go home and put the keys exactly the way they were when I took it, so that my brother won't suspect anything, and went back to sleep like nobody did anything wrong. Then I did that a few times already, until my brother noticed like his fuel going down a bit. You know, like, hey, I know I top up my fuel already, but how come the needle is like a bit lower? So he knows I rode his bike while he was asleep. Then his advice to me was, because back then he was a police NSF. So what he told me is, I am not giving you green light to ride my bike, but I know you ride my bike. So if, let's say, you get caught or police were chasing you while you are riding my bike, you better quickly park my bike somewhere and run on foot, because I don't want my bike and my license to get involved with your crimes. And I'm like, okay. So I was very, very happy to ride his bike every now and then. And every now and then I ride his bike. Then one fine day in the Ramadan of year 2009, I think if you look back at the calendar, it was the Thursday before Hari Raya, so it was still Ramadan. I get to know this group of friends who were not really good friends, not very useful friends. They were of course older than me, and they were already riding motorcycles. So me being me, the idiot, I wanted to fit in. So I took my brother's bike out while he was sleeping. Usual, nothing unusual. And I took the bike to join them for lepak. They were all shocked because, like, one thing, I can ride a bike. Second thing, like, this motherfucker is crazy. They know I got no license. Obviously, I was only 16 back then. Then one of the guys in the group, he just turned 18, but he got no license because according to him, his mom does not approve him riding a motorcycle. So in order to he found a loophole to that. He signed on police, and during the interview he mentioned he wanted to be a traffic police. So yeah, that's one way to get a class 2 license eventually, without parents' approval, so to speak. Because, like, yeah, it's part of my job. I have to take license. What are you talking about? This is for my job. You know? That was his bullshit story lah. Then he told me, bro, so far I went for second interview already. For a very high chance I get police for my NS, then I will sign on STP. And like, okay, so then he told me, bro, you teach me how to ride, can or not? And I'm naturally a good teacher. I'm good at teaching people shit, especially if it's things that you should not do. That's just me. So I took out my brother's bike again. This was 2 a.m. in the morning or 3 a.m. I think. I took my brother's bike. Assalamualaikum. Tolong buka pintu. Okay, never mind. Let's try again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Beli motor baru, bayar gantry tak mampu. Mungkin malu saja. Okay, back to the story. So I took my brother's bike out, bring it to his car park, which is very near my car park. He was at Bukit Panjang Fajar Road. Then I teach him how to, like, half clutch lah. I show him how to do it. Then he managed to ride around the car park already. And back then people don't really complain. There's like almost no such thing as noise complaint unless the noise is really too much. So factory standard 2-stroke bike was still tolerable. So we were riding around the car park, back and forth. Then he confident to ride himself. Then I told him, okay lah, you practice lah, but don't go out of the car park lah. You practice inside the car park, you just go back and forth lah. Then he say, okay. He gave me a bottle of, I think, kuih tart or something he took from his house because it was Ramadan. So obviously there's a lot of kuih raya at home. He gave it to me. So I was sitting at the void deck munching on the kuih. He showed me his second interview letter just to brag about it, that he's going to be a policeman. So like I was reading it, then suddenly I hear the two-stroke bike but it's outside but it was not inside the car park, it was outside the car park. I was sitting at the void deck, then I hear and I saw him at the main road. And guess what is directly opposite of his block? It was, I don't know which CC it is, like what they call it, Bukit Panjang CC or Fajar CC, you know. It was a community center with a police station there, and the police station is right in facing the place I'm sitting at lah. And unfortunately, this bloody idiot stalled his engine in front of the police station. And even more unfortunate, there was one NSF police officer. He was standing outside the police station because it was 2+ AM going 3 AM. If I'm a police officer in a neighborhood that don't have much crime, I will be bored as well. So that officer, I think is a NSF lah, because he's quite young. He was shining his torchlight on the community center building. When I look at him from across the road, what I saw was him doing this. Then he hear the stall engine, right? Then he turn around and shine the torchlight at the bike. That's where I thought, oh fuck, I'm dead. I don't mind going to prison. I don't mind paying for what fine, like by serving time. But I know I'm going to lose my brother's trust from that day on. And yeah, that guy was like kickstarting the bike in a struggle way. If you kickstart a bike before, you know how a person like trying to start the bike quickly, you know, like grr, 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 grr. So obviously he did everything wrong and the bike won't start. And that police officer, the NSF, also an idiot lah actually. But by luck, he is an idiot. Because before the bike start, the headlight won't turn on. An old 1990s two-stroke bike, the headlight runs on the alternator or the magnetic coil. So obviously lah, before you start the engine, the headlight will be off. So this guy was kick. Somehow the bike won't start. Then the police officer shine the torchlight at him. Say, bro, your headlight is off. And this motherfucker, he say, oh, thank you, sorry. Hey, kick. Then this guy, the police officer approached him and like, are you okay? Say, yeah. Why not you push the bike to the side and give me your particulars? It was just a hunch, you know. This NSF, he had a hunch because his face really panicked already. The guy who I no longer regard him as friend lah. He panicked. He kick. Then this NSF was suspicious of him, right? So he say, you give me your particulars, your license and your IC. Like license don't have. Okay, you squat down. Okay, mind you, like for example, I'm at the void deck. They are just across the road, like maybe 30-40 meters away from me, and at the time of like 3 a.m, the neighborhood was super quiet. So they are just having a normal conversation, the normal volume, but I can hear them from across the road. So I heard what they were talking about lah. Then he say, so whose bike is this? Okay, mirror image you got no license, then whose bike is this? Wah, this motherfucker, he's squatting down, he turn, he point straight at me like that. Me at the void deck bench eating kuih, watching them like movie like that. Like I said, my natural self won't run away from police. So I just sat there like accepting my fate already lah. Then the NSF police officer looking at me, a teenager, right, dengan suara abang-abang dia. Hey boy, come here. So steady, with the bottle of kuih in my hand, with that motherfucker second interview letter in my hand, jaywalk across the road and munching on the kuih. Like, yes, like as if I'm unaware of my crime like that, you know. Yes. Whose bike is this? My brother. You squat down next to him. I squat down, still munching on the kuih. I look at him like, I told you not to come out from the car park, right? I was very calm for some reason. So they say, what's your brother's name? I give my brother's name. Then, where you stay? I give my address, which is a very short walking distance from there. Then they say, call your brother now. Okay, I call my brother. He picked up the phone because it was 3 a.m. So he was groggy, cranky. So especially after he heard what happened, I explained to him what happened, he was even more pissed off. I say, hey, fuck, I tell you already lah, don't ride the bike lah. You just need to wait for another 2 years. I say, well, it already happened. So, yeah, don't worry. I told them I stole your keys. So, no charges will be against you. Then, my brother walked over to claim his bike. Then the police officer took my statements and his statements, and the police officer asked. This one was a senior warrant, I think. There was a crest somewhere. I don't know police rank so much. I know army rank only. So, but he's a senior officer, like he's a Seng guy, I think. He asked my brother, do you know your brother is riding your bike? Then he say, yeah, I tried to hide my keys, but he will eventually find it. It happened a few times already lah. Then I say, okay, do you allow your brother to ride your bike? I say, no, I don't allow. I scold him many times already. Okay, do you want to press charges against your brother for stealing your bike? I say, no, I don't want to press charges against my brother. Okay. And then say, I already have your statement, and whatever I have is enough. You may take your bike and go home. So what will happen to my brother? Your brother will be going to Jurong HQ, and will get to meet his IO, all that, and go through the process lah. So my IO came, and I was charged for 5 charges. Okay, that friend of mine got 2 charges: driving without license, driving without insurance. Me, I got 5 charges. Oh wait, driving without license and insurance is 1 charge. Then second is driving without owner's consent is 1 charge. Mine is these 2 same charges. Wait. Oh yeah, correct. His one is insurance and without license. Then mine is driving without insurance, driving without license, driving without owner's consent, allowing another rider to ride without insurance, and allowing another rider to ride without insurance and license. These two charges. So I got 5 charges, and it total up to $3,200 of fine and 2 years of disqualification from driving any class of vehicle. I was 16, and I think the judge was being lenient to me, and the sentence was effective immediately. So I was 16 and a half years old. So yeah, I legally enrolled for my class 2B at 18 and a half years old. I served my sentence then lah. That $3,200 during the court date itself, my mother asked me, because to be honest, my family wasn't really doing well. We were quite poor, so to speak. So $3,200 out of the pocket is not something that can happen immediately. Like, oh, you need to pay how much? 3,000. Okay, I transfer. Back then it wasn't like that. Getting to eat McDonald's breakfast is a luxury back then. So that's how poor or rich my family is lah, when I was growing up. So my mom asked me, "Hey, how much is your saman?" 3,200. This was in the court lah. After sentence, I get to discuss with my mom for a while, just for a few seconds. Then she asked me, "Okay, you need my help or not? You want me to call your uncle or my friends so I can borrow money from them?" At the age of 16, I realized I'm already too much trouble for my mom. So I told her, "No, you can go home." Then how are you going to pay for your fine? It's okay lah, it's the holidays. I'm not in school anyway. So they say if I pay the fine with time, it will be around $200 per day. So I will be inside for like 2 weeks plus. Then my mom say, "Are you sure this will be in your record forever?" Say, "Yeah, it's my fault. It's my, like, for once I should take responsibility for what I did lah. Like, I'm 16, I should be mature already. So yes, let me handle this myself. I'm sorry I troubled you, and now I'm trying to be a man who takes care of his own shit." Then my mom say, "Okay, see you in 2 weeks." So yeah, I was in prison for 2 weeks for riding my brother's bike without license, without insurance, without owner's consent, all that shit, and allowing someone else to do that. Of course, my brother was very unhappy. I spent a total of 14 days in prison. I get to understand what the inside of the prison is like. Not fun anyway. Not fun, by the way. Not something you want to experience. And I got out. I waited for another 2 years and enrolled. So, long story short, 2014 I passed my class 2B. It took so long for me to pass my class 2B because I had no money. So yeah, work, school, spend money on cigarettes back then. So yeah, no money to take license. So spend money on cigarettes, save maybe a few cents every now and then. Got $30-40 only. Okay, then I booked prac. So it took me, I think 2 years to pass my class 2B. Which is stupid lah. It's very stupid, I tell you. I should just focus and pass it earlier. So 2014, I was, how old was I? 21, 22. I was serving my NS, then I passed my license. And fast forward to now, I have my class 2 and class 3. So after going through all that, I understand the value of my license. Of course, I'm still speeding every now and then. Of course, I was caught beating the red light once. Wait, yes, once. I kena red light camera once. So yeah, I truly know the value of license in Singapore. It's not easy to get. It's not easy to pass. It's not easy to earn. It's expensive now, especially. So at the end of the day, my message to the younger audience out there who is interested in being a motorist in Singapore, be it car or bike, go through the proper channel. If your parents drive and ride and you want them to teach you, make sure whenever you are riding the bike, it's with them. They are in control. You are young and stupid. Don't think you are smart. Okay? I was young, I was stupid, I know. Now I mature a bit already. So if your parents agree to teach you how to operate a vehicle, only do it with them. Don't sneak out and take their keys while they are not around and drive on your own, because when you go through this kind of shit, it's not easy for them as parents, because of course any parents, okay, most parents will do their best to bring up their child and make them into a good, successful person. And doing things like this will slow that down for you. It will only affect your future, and it will ruin their plans and all the hard work they put into bringing you up. So don't do this to your parents. And to my audience who have children who are at the age of doing stupid things like this, you can share this with them lah if you want to. And yeah, don't like remind them to behave and not screw around with the law, because you are in Singapore, and Singapore is one of the strictest country when it comes to law. It's not something you fuck around with. Okay, I think that's all I have for today. Whatever it is, stay safe out there, stay happy, stay healthy. See you in the next one. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.